We got stuff to do, man. All right. I'm working on building a Starliner replica in Kerbal, and I have to finish it by tonight because it's due for a project tomorrow. Good times. This is going to interrupt the shenanigans tomorrow. Yeah, I know. I don't. Now, Jeb March 5. Now, watch this. Now, watch this launch, or don't. All right, let's load up KSP again, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage of the KAO1. I learned a new stuff. I learned a lot of new stuff about underwater telephone lines. They're not telephone lines, moron. Why did I say that? You, internet cables under the water. Under the sea. Under the sea. Yeah, you weren't expecting a Little Mermaid reference, were you? Well, you got one. Now what? What kind of project are you working on that gives you a hard deadline? So Nuclear, Das and Nuclear, I don't know if you've been around. Das was on Flame Trench on NSF last Friday. Flame Trench is a podcast that about space that I do on Fridays for NASA Spaceflight on the NASA Spaceflight channel. It's restreamed here on this stream as well. Das and I got into it about Starliner basically losing control when Butch and Sonny tried to dock to the space station in June of last year. It lost control. And Eric Berger wrote an article about this, saying, with an interview with Barry Wilmore, saying, he's like, this is a big deal. A loss of control is a big deal. NASA violated their own flight rules willingly to get Starliner to the space station, right? And, losing control of a capsule is not great. Das and I were going back and forth, and he basically said that, that's very sensationalist. Starliner's problems weren't that big of a deal. And Das said, if somebody made a Starliner in KSP and disabled the same exact thrusters that happened when Butch and Sonny were trying to dock to the space station, right? He could get that capsule to the station, no problem. So I was like, all right, fine, I'll take that bet. So I loaded up KSP, right? We loaded up KSP and over the last 2 days, right, have been building out a very high fidelity Starliner replica. It does have a little bit of problems with it, and there's still some things we got to dial in. My service module is giving me a little bit of trouble. But the funny part is that theirs is too in real life. But so I'm building out a high fidelity Starliner capsule here, and we're going to tomorrow, because Das can't be at the Flame Trench on Friday, right? Tomorrow we're doing a special Flame Trench with NSF, and Das is going to try to dock this on the station in front of a live studio audience. So, yeah, it gave me a deadline. It gave me 2 days to build out a high-fidelity version of Starliner, which is what we're working on right now, but I'm still ironing out some of the kinks with this thing. Namely, separating the service module is not great. It's not working very well. Here, let me turn down the audio so I don't blow out your eardrums here when we go to launch it. I'm going to put the music back on, and I will show you what I'm talking about. Should we stock him with Dr. Pepper first? Yeah, maybe. I'm working on the arrow skirt for the thing. Give me 1 second. Nice. Sweet. Separatrons for the separation. The real one doesn't do that, so why should we? Here, let's just send it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It isn't necessary, but I know you want it perfect. I said I'd build a high-fidelity Starliner replica article. That means end-to-end simulation, something that Boeing doesn't really seem to have any need to do to require certification in real life, but I ain't like them. We are not the same. Anyway, here, watch. Send it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the problem. It's fine. What do you use to manage your mods? I don't have many mods, Extreme Doopy, but what the heck is the name of that? CCAN. CCAN? Yeah, CCAN. A bunch of people said it in chat. Are you gonna make an atlas for this? If we have time. You know what? I have a theory that these struts that we added to the heat shield is causing me issues. Spoiler alert, we do not have time. Oh, we got plenty of time. It's fine. Do you have a link to this song, please? There you go, Flykin. What time is Das going to attempt the docking? I do believe this is happening. It's tomorrow, either like basically at 5 p.m. tomorrow. It could be at 5 or 6. Just show up around 5 tomorrow, which is when I'm basically gonna start up. I can't stream early hours tomorrow, dudes, because of a real life obligation. This week is kind of busy for RL stuff. Which is why I'm giving you long streams, dudes. But yeah, 5 p.m. tomorrow. That's 5 hours after my normal start time for your local time zones. Don't forget to put an NSF logo on it. Okay. We're dead. Ah, yes. Crush Core Service Module. It's fine. What was I doing here? Yeah, okay. OMAC control. Are they set to shut off? Okay. I've actually learned a ton about Starliner and kind of why it is the way that it is with its thruster packages. I see what Boeing is trying to do. It's just, there's a lot of thrusters on this thing, dudes. Like, that's the short answer. There's a lot of thrusters, and yeah. Okay. Ready? Let me just make sure. Okay. This thing's got to go more up than anything. A little bit better, but not exactly what I'm looking for. We basically can't have the capsule spinning around like that when we go to separate. Let me just make sure that these thrusters are working. Yep. Okay, cool. Yeah, see how the fairing's still a little weird? And I wasn't supposed to land completely with the heat shield, but... Turn on infinite fuel and give it a little bit more height. It's a good idea. You may have answered this only, but why is there only one thruster pack on the capsule? Wouldn't you want, like, one in the opposite direction so you don't impart translation when you try to rotate? There's 4 of them. Whatever to happen to KSP 2? Yeah, that's what I'm asking, Generic. Alright, let's get a little bit more altitude. Ready? Yeah, that's not good. Does that mean he's not coming on then? Yeah, you know what? I think I'll just engineer the thrusters to... Yeah. Of course it was a Grand Tour reference, man. I think a Cal-controlled abort controller probably would be a good idea. Why did they really not want the astronauts to land with the vehicle? They weren't sure if the thrusters would be able to fire and not overheat and pop before they finished a deorbit burn. That's the big one. We gotta make sure the roll control thrusters are enabled. Okay, they are. Alright, ready? right. Definitely better. Launch scrub, Kenwa, yep. It does, Dead Crew, yes. So you're going to do a full flight profile. I said I wanted to end-to-end capsule, dude. You want a high fidelity, make it do the whole thing. You know what you need? The Ford version of a Spark with a big block Chevy in it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's really pretty good. That was a better separation. It still wasn't good because we still had some translational forces. Basically, the capsule, the prograde velocity vector needs to be in line with the long axis of the vehicle to get a good separation. It's the RCS, the thrusters here are causing me a little bit of a headache. We could move them all backwards a little bit. That would assist us with separation. I've cheated it to orbit once, John, just to see. I have not tested the heat shield squares. I can't get the service module to separate correctly when post-deorbit burn. It breaks, which is why I'm testing it here, because if I can get it to clean separate here, it can clean separate up in space. At least that's my rationale there. All right, ready? Yeah, see, we were still wiggling way too much there, dudes. It's for stability during ascent for the capsule. Done. Just off work. Thanks for the coverage this morning. Didn't know if you saw your super chat. I did. Yeah, I at least I'm pretty sure I did. If not, Brandon, sorry. I usually try to answer, like, to acknowledge super chats, tips, bits, whatever in real time. I don't like putting it into a queue. That's NSF's thing. And if I missed it, I deeply apologize. I really try to stay on top of that, dude. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. What part is it though? Those are flags with a custom flag. It's a truss texture that I used for my Space Station Freedom project, John. I'm not sure, Rares. Maybe. I'm sure it's easier for you to do real time with a lower volume of messages. Yes and no. You think that docking port protruding from the heat shield will survive re-entry heating? Yes. It'll flex all of its heat into the heat shield, Drunksoul. Yeah. Part flux is not something, heat flux is not something that's really covered a lot in KSP, but oh, it's absolutely a thing. Yeah, flying docking port first connected to the heat shield, it'll conduct all the heat into the heat shield and the heat shield will ablate because that's how Kerbal works. In real life, that would not happen at all. In real life, it would not do that. Like, let's be no, that would not happen in real life. There would be no docking port and probably no heat shield in real life. Brendan, same time as Flame Trench, so 5 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, Simon, I don't think that's gonna work too well in real life. I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe. Can you increase the docking port jettison force to get it away from the pod faster? I'm not entirely sure we have port jettison force here. That's acquisition force. Yeah, Louiso, exactly. You know what? We'll do that whole infinite fuel thing again. I want to see something. Get the thing to fly higher. That's right, Rares. That's what happened. Well, we got higher. Pretty good. Still jostled the heat shield around. But see, yeah, it still didn't like it. Yeah, I know, Baron, right? Huh, we landed on docking points. I think it's the capsule being tilted from the drogues, honestly. I think I have to adjust the service module fairing just a little bit, dude. I think that's what's going on. As much as I hate, like, that's gonna suck. We might be able to get away with it by just moving the shield slightly back. Like a tick. Like that. Let's try it again with service module just moved back like a couple millimeter. Add guide pins so that it has a path to follow when getting jettisoned. What would the pins attach to, Rockets? That's the issue here. Last if you could. What's up, Neep? This is for my own curiosity, but if you have multiple docking ports connected with a high jettison force, docking ports don't have jettison force. And I don't think you can compound it. It's not a controllable axis in Cal controllers, but I could be wrong. Okay, ready? Lot healthier jettison there. But I didn't dump the heat shield, but it's alright. Why does it pitch this much during the abort? It also doesn't wiggle in space after the deorbit burn, so it's fine. Yeah, it pitches this much because my capsule has an asymmetric center of mass, just like the real one. The real one does that, dude. Here, let me show you. Watch. Ready? Watch the real one launching. This is the pad abort test. 5, 4, 3, 2. Watch this. 1, 0. Yeet!
Oh, complete. How about you cut off? On track. Home net cut off. Get your on. 40 kill parachute. Broke parachutes mains. SM7.
See, that thing pulls the mains and then separates the service module, interestingly enough. Maybe we should try that. Is doing a short flip burn? It is. It does that, Simon, but I am not. I have a little bit of a problem. Monopropellant feed ignores fuel crossfeed rules. So what I have to do in the event of an abort is I have to open, I have an extra fuel tank or 2 extra fuel tanks that are closed out here. And I have to, what I would have to do during the abort, when the engines flame out, hit X, throttle down the damn engine, right? Open up the tanks, use the RCS to flip the capsule like they did, and then deploy the drogues. I don't really have enough time in my ascent corridor with this to do that. That's my issue. And I don't, it's just too much stuff to do all at once. My solution to that, you know, we have a little bit more time. If we have a little bit more time, my solution to that problem would be to independently throttle my abort motors on a cal controller and uncouple them from main throttle control, so I could skip the step of having to hit X and have the thing throttled down. That way, you know, during flameout, after flameout, I could just hit the go button with the tank and we're good to go. And then we could use the RCS to flip. Now, I do believe that Starliner does use some OMAC stuff going on there as well to flip the capsule. I'm pretty sure it's using the OMAC thrusters, not just the small thrusters, to do that flip, because that is a huge flip. They have a lot of control there, which is also why I believe they rotate the capsule 90 degrees so they can use the OMAC yaw, the port and starboard OMAC thruster, forward facing thrusters to do that flip. I'm pretty dang sure, but it could be, I'm taking a guess, but so all right, let's talk about the ascent on this next test. So we're going to go, we roll 90 degrees. Once we roll 90 degrees, I'll hit the action group to enable OMAC thrusters, right? Which is action group AG5 for OMAC toggle, right? So we go, we fly, roll 90 degrees, hit 5, turn on the OMAC thrusters, engines flame out. I have to hit X. Then I'll have one of these tanks already open, right? I'll flip the thing around, pop the nose cone, pop drogues, right? Pop mains unfurl, and then separate the module while those are unfurling, right? That would be what we're trying to do here. Yeah, the drogues don't go very long, Andrew. They jettison them quick because the drogues are only there to slow down the capsule from terminal velocity down to a point where you can deploy the parachutes without them just completely destroying the rigging and blowing right off. Yes, Aldisert. The last thing I need is Das messing around with this thing. Right? The last thing I need is Das messing around with this thing. And then, we do the test, we prove it out, and he goes to try and do something else with it, and it blows up. That would look really, really bad on my part. And can you imagine all the jokes in chat? All the jokes in chat, oh, Starliner exploded, oh my god. I don't think that's really sending the right message, dude. So, yes, I want all phases of the mission. That's what I mean when I say high fidelity. I want all phases of a Starliner's mission to work with this capsule because, yeah, I don't need people saying, oh, it sucks, it blew up like Starliner. I don't want that, dude. Right? Right? That's why. People have been asking me that all day. They're like, why are you working on the paddleboard? You're just trying to dock to the space station. Dude, trust me. I don't need the Kraken taking this damn thing when Das uses it, okay? I don't need that. I think that reflects pretty poorly, right? Are you building a launcher for it too? I might throw together a little Atlas 5 action if we got some time. He'll find a way to blow it up. Well, yeah, you're probably right. All right, so we have to hit 3 to enable our abort roll control thrusters. OMAC thrusters are enabled. Bind control thrusters are enabled. Capsule side thrusters are not enabled. We don't need those for this test. Okay, throttle up. SAS, RCS on. I'm going to activate the engines. And when the engines shut off, OMAC thrusters are already enabled. All right, we roll 90 degrees. Right? So launch, roll 90. When the motors flame out, I got to hit throttle down, open the monoprop tank, and use the these OMAC thrusters need to be enabled for yaw or else they're not going to do anything. Orbital maneuvering and control thrusters, the big thrusters, those ones. If they're not enabled for yaw, then that's not going to work. Okay, cool. Now they are. All right, let me just go over it again in my head one more time. Engines ignite, roll 90 degrees. Motors fly up. Motor flame out. OMAC thrusters, I already enabled them. Throttle down, enable the tank. Flip the capsule over as best we can. Nose cone, drogues, mains. Try to get the capsule nice and stable. Jettison the service module last. Okay, I got it. Let's do this. Yes, Doom. That's what I'll probably ultimately implement. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. 90-degree roll commanded. Throttle down, enable tank. It still didn't like that separation, and I'm not 100% sure why. That was decent. But do you see how it jittered a little bit during SEP? It wasn't the biggest fan. I'm really just unclear on what this heat shield is fouling on. I think it's on the fairing. I think the fairing is just a little bit too close. Let me look at the fairing shape. Do you have a space station for him to dock to? Yes. In another save, yes I do. A really nice one, actually. I gotta get more burn time out of these damn puff engines. That will increase burn time. 727. I lowered their thrust output to give it a longer burn time. Let's see if that gets us a little bit higher up. They are. They're so... Yeah, Coyotes, they're freaking awful. Yeah. But I didn't want to make the thruster blocks out of vernier engines either, because that would have looked even more ridiculous. And there's no small monopropellant thruster that's liquid fuel and oxidizer. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. That TWR was atrociously bad. Same result, basically, as last time. And that's why it's so important to get the abort right. Because I don't want the Kraken lurking in my design, Sawyer, and I'm ironing out all Kraken details because of this. I don't need this thing blowing up in my face when Das is trying to do this. And I know what you're gonna say. Well, you know what happened? That's not gonna happen. What if he hits? What if he hits the wrong button? What if we don't have this thing totally dialed in? He hits the wrong button, it blows up. That's not gonna prove it. That's not gonna prove my point. You know what I mean? Hey Novus, what's up, man? KSP1 like the old days. Indeed. I'll never hear the end of it, Sawyer. Believe me, I know Das. He'll find something. And I'm not going to allow that to happen. I just don't understand what is causing this problem. What about part count? Is he playing at home or on the road? I have no idea. Yeah, he's a little out of practice, that's for sure. Alright, guys, I'm just gonna do a quick test. I want to do a quick test with the service module kind of backed off. Just to be absolutely sure that the rim of the service module, so that the service module heat shield interface is what's causing us problems. I want to make sure it's not the pod. I'm pretty sure it's not the pod, but you never know. Capsule problems? Not so easy, is it? I'll slap you, Novus. I will slap you. Yep. Yeah, it's our service module interface. It's terrible. Careful, he may be lurking. He probably is. Okay. Game time decision, bros. You know what EJ's game time decision is? Wait 6 months to let SpaceX do it? No comment. I'm not saying nothing. right, so I'm gonna redesign this just a little bit. Let's mess with this. Let me check something. Okay.
Gaze up high, there's a rocket in the sky, blasting off to space, leaving Earth behind. EJ Stream brings you the latest scoop, every launch, every loop, joining this space troop.
I just saved a new revision. I need to see what the collider box is on this heat shield. Alright, cool. So, I'm gonna go over here. Let's bring out our rulers again that we were making previously. We gotta measure some stuff.
Catch it all on EJ score. With each lift off, our curiosity soars. Tune in now for more and more. Gravity's down, satellites align. Inspiration's calling, don't get left behind. And I'm join the dream. EJ's got the greatest beat.
Alright, I gotta redesign the service module a little bit. So,
From SpaceX launch past to NASA's crew.
I'm gonna use this to measure stuff. These are, you know, 2 struts between a cubic octet. I use this a lot as an editor tool. I call them Tessa rulers because one of my moderators, Quintessa, was the person that figured this stuff out. I'm going to use it to kind of give me a marker where the collider box is on this heat shield. That's basically close enough. Okay, cool. Just line that up on the center axis. Now, where does the heat shield collider? See how my mouse cursor is highlighting the heat shield even though it's not really on it? See that? The collider is there despite the shape. The collision box is there. See this? See this area right here? This piece right there? That's what was getting me. I have to build my fairing so it goes around this, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get another one of these rulers, the Tessa rulers, right? And we're going to move this up here like this. Move this one back. Absolute snap that way. This will give us a horizontal line. Now, we're gonna go in here. Okay, so one thing to mess with now, right? That's where that collider is up there. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's where the collider is anywhere else. Do we know if this collider is a perfect cylinder? It's a cylinder. It's not a rock, it's a cylinder. Yeah, okay. There's the point. It's right there. Okay, cool. So the collider box, the topology count on the collider box is basically this. It is half of the rounds or the edge, the faces around. So you see right here on the heat shield, you see how it's kind of straight right there, and then it's kind of straight right there. The collider box goes from right there to there. Easy peasy. This is not hard to fix. Or not hard to show. I can show exactly using these rulers. I could basically plot out and extrapolate exactly where that heat shield collider is, so we could be absolutely sure that our fairing is not going to hit this thing when it separates. That might mean I need to make the service module a little bit of a wider diameter, which is fine. It'll look fine. It'll look okay. It's okay. So give me a moment. We're gonna do some trickery here. I gotta sneeze. It's turbo. It's turbocharged. All right, so give me a cylindric piece that's easy to rotate like that. There we go. Cool. All right, give me another one of these rulers. Okay. He could be lurking. Yeah, that's possible. Never mind. Ladder topology is a little bit different. All right. So, it looks like, from what I can tell, the top of the heat shield collider is relatively flat right there. All right, now watch. So here's what we do. Flip that 180 degrees around, and now we got our bottom collider here. If I take this thing, put it right there.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Now we just got to see how wide this particular piece is. Okay. You know what? I got a better way of doing this. I'm not a good songwriter, as you can.
When you're Kerbal stuck in space, or you're trying to get to the MSC race, one man has all the clues to help you solve your blues. EJ is his name, and rockets are his game. Bolder than any man, crazy creations are his plan. Cities, Kerbal, and workers, they are at his command. But oh God, that's all I can think of. Chat bothers him all day and night, but Eej always puts up a fight.
Eej.
Weird impressions, internet memes. EA is always so extreme. I'm not a good songwriter, as you can.
As you can. So I'm just placing parts here so we can figure out exactly where the heat shield is. And now, by separating, doing 1 degree of separation here with this, all we got to do, if we want to extrapolate where the bottom edge of the heat shield is, at least the collider, we can just absolute snap that into position.
Crazy creations are his plan. Cities, Kerbal, and workers, they all are at his command. I don't know if that's all I can think of. Chat bothers him all day and night, but he always puts up a fight. Weird impressions, internet memes. He's always so extreme. I'm not a good songwriter, as you can hear.
See last. What's up, Novus? Thoughts on the hearing today? I mean, I took a lot of notes, dude. I didn't mind what I heard, but dude, I can't help but think that they didn't really ask great questions per se. I mean, the senator from my state just really wasted a lot of time. Yeah, that like I really wish they'd cross-examined Rook a little bit more. But, yeah, on the whole, I think what Rick had to say was pretty good, man. It was pretty good. I was honestly and truly wondering, you know, he clearly looks at, it's clear from his testimony that he looks at SLS as an interim thing, right? We're going to go to the moon. We're going to use SLS. That's the best solution in the interim time. My question is, what is the interim time? What is that time period? Right? What is that? Well, how long is that interim period? And I really wish they had pushed him on that, because I'd like, okay. So to me, if it was me, Novus, that interim time period is a decade. Okay? That's it. That's 10 years. Okay, that's a decade. Why? Why is it a decade? Well, one, you wait 10 years, fix the Artemis program, SLS 4 times a year, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You've heard that before. That is a good enough time to make sure that Starship is a fully reliable and matured piece of equipment. That is enough time. That's my interim period. Right? At that point, starships will be reliable enough in 10 years. Like, dude, if SpaceX keeps going at the pace, 10 years, they'll be fine. Like, Starship will be great by then. Right? And that's when we should, A, start going towards Mars with NASA personnel, and B, use starships to resupply a lunar base and go to Mars and do whatever, you know? So my question is, what's your interim period? What does that mean? How long of a period is that? I was hoping for a question on the EUS. There was a lot of talk of the lunar infrastructure and presence, but not much in the realm of brass tacks on what that looks like. Exactly. Starship should have 2 starships on Mars in 2024, according to Elon. Well, of course, Simon. Yeah, and dude, don't get me wrong. I want SpaceX to do it. Abso-freaking-lutely, man. Yeah, great. I would love that. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But Starship is not a matured end-to-end system for people to get to Mars anytime soon. And that's by SpaceX's own admission. Not that that's a bad thing. It's almost like when you design the most complicated launch vehicle that just happens to be fully reusable and build out the infrastructure for that launch vehicle to have the dexterity to go anywhere in the solar system in the future, it's going to take some time. I think SpaceX is cooking, and I think they'll do it. That's just going to take a little bit of time to build an architecture, a spaceflight architecture around, right? Just because we could send starships in 2024 with, dude, don't get me wrong, that's a huge W. I please do it. Freaking do it, bro. Like, but you're not designing a full crew NASA presence to the surface of Mars and back in 2024. So once again, that goes back to my question, Simon. Like, what is the interim period where we're using SLS to push the forefront of human space exploration? And when does this, hand over to Mars, Starship, when does that happen? What does that mean? I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that. Personally, you build out SLS over the next 10 years, and then you have SLS and Starship. Starship is great for logistical resupply. Contract SpaceX to have Starships resupply your lunar base that SLS built, right? And then use SLS to move gigantic infrastructure to Mars. Use SLS to launch deep space probes. Use SLS to build new space stations. And I know what people say, well, Starship can do that. Yeah, that's great. You're not wrong. Starship absolutely can do that. But you got to remember, SpaceX is building Starship as a logistics vehicle. It's not a Saturn V. It's a logistics. It's much more like a 747, right? For space. And that's fine. That's all fine and dandy, right? There are other ways to move cargo around the world other than a 747, and people for that matter, right? SLS can be used for pushing scientific boundaries, and Starship can be used as our logistics for a moon and Mars bases. It's totally doable, dudes. In fact, that's what I really hope he would say. He didn't really get too much into it. He didn't get much into detail on the architecture. Not saying that SpaceX should change how they develop Starship, but where would it be if it went down the traditional development route? Right. A pipe dream. A pipe dream is the end of that sentence. On the whole, I think Rook's going to do good things, to be honest. Do you see Starships being owned by folks other than SpaceX? Like, if NASA wanted to procure Starships for their own operations, just like the post office buys like a Mercedes Metris, I'm cool with that. Yeah, sure, do that. Every other government agency procures vehicles like that, sure. We need the EOS if we want that 10-year period. ICPS ain't going to be around much longer. Novus, my 10-year interim period... Okay, so one of two things, all right? How long do you want this how many flights do you want to do during this interim period? I think 4 flights a year is doable. 4 flights a year is doable with the EUS. And if anybody going to give me crap about the EUS doesn't work, it's not good, it's going to take another year, fine, put New Glenn's upper stage on it. I totally get it. I know the difficulties involved with changing the upper stage right now. But if it's going to take 2 years to put an upper stage that we frankly won't have to worry about production numbers like what we do with the ICPS and potentially with the EUS, if that means 2 years to retool the SLS program for the New Glenn upper stage, you're never going to have to worry about not having an upper stage, ever. If that's how long it's going to take to see the EUS through. Frankly, I like New Glenn's upper stage. It is a much more high energy stage using 600 kilonewton expander cycle Hydrolox engines. It's basically an EUS on steroids. I like that. You're gonna retool and you're gonna have to retool and redesign SLS. That's fine. Whatever. Fine with me. That's gonna take a lot of time, but that stage is already engineered. So refitting it, they did it once with SLS with the ICPS, so refitting it to this shouldn't take very long. It is going to take some semblance of time. So do one or the other. Fix the EUS program or say screw it and put New Glenn's upper stage on top. Also, Novus, what I would call for is using New Glenn as a contracted service to get Orion into low Earth orbit. That'll make building out a Martian architecture and lunar exploration architecture a lot easier. That allows a lot more flexibility in your space flight plans, which is what SLS frankly needs. Starship upper stages are too heavy, John. They're too heavy for SLS. SLS is not designed to move a stainless steel pressure vessel. Novus, if we continue, I would prefer to see EUS development continued. In my mind, if we go ahead with EUS, you can hedge your bets against Cleod not working and build Skylab 2 with an EUS and use the universal staging adapter as your kind of boilerplate for a space station module on the front of the EUS. Make Skylab 2, Orion on New Glenn to get to it, use it as a low Earth orbit astronaut training facility, and then farm the scientific research out to Cleod, but have that facility to hedge your bets. That would not cost a lot of cash. The operations would be relatively minimal. It's a disposable space station. If you don't want it, you can launch another one if you want to fix it. Similar to the Salyut program from the Soviets, right? Now I know people are going to say, oh, that's going to anchor us in Leo again. No, it won't, because you engineered an upper stage. You engineered an EUS. 4 times a year with Skylab 2, training for Artemis, training on Orion, training on New Glenn. And then NASA, quite frankly, needs to build their own in-house hypergolic lander to hedge your bets against HLS and SLD. Those are going to take time. They are complicated landers. But once again, they're designed for a logistics and supply chain for the moon. They're not necessarily good for exploration, right? This is what I do. Two-stage hypergolic lander. Have a Orion and an EUS tow that thing out there, right? Have an EUS park one of those things with an uprated descent module. Have it park in rectilinear halo, right? And then launch an Orion out there, however you want to do that, right? Rendezvous, a gateway, if you want to still do that, sure. And then use your 2-stage hypergol lander to get 2 people down to the surface for exploration purposes to hedge your bets in the meantime against HLS and SLD not getting fully up to snuff. HLS and SLD are great so Starship refueling, Blue Origin refueling, great, awesome designs. I want them to work. I also think we should hedge your bets against that. This gives you the most interoperability between landers. You have much more flexible schedules this way. And you end up with more spaceflight hardware, I don't give a frick what anybody says. That's not the worst idea. Which is more difficult, longer. EUS or New Glenn? I would need to know where EUS is in its systems engineering at this point, Bob. Something that NASA has not been very forthcoming with it. Are you going to do a Starliner recreation mission similar to the Apollo 13 recreation? Is that what 6th lock means? 6 degrees of freedom, loss of control, Lone Wolf. That means that Barry Wilmore was controlling the Starliner capsule during the CFT-1 space station docking last summer, and they lost control of the capsule. Sorry, bringing the conversation back here, I'm not sure myself on the context. What is wrong with the EUS and its eventual integration? EUS itself is fine as an upper stage TIGS, if you got to make it, though. NASA... The exploration upper stage passed critical design review in 2020. 5 freaking years ago. They've made a couple of confidence welding articles since then. You know why? Because they get dick for funding. I kind of zoned out. Did you answer my question? Or out of 10 just balloons the crap out of the cost. ML2 just got module 6 stacked. Cool. Yeah, Kate, we weren't supposed to see that. Ladder's crooked. The heat shield platter is not a perfect cylinder, from what I can tell here. Either that or it's using a very, very strange geometric pattern here. US got a redesign in that period. It's in production. Yeah, well, that's good to know, Novus, but I don't, hearsay doesn't really work too well for me. Like, I haven't really seen any concrete updates, dude. But yeah, if you're, okay, so let me put it to you like this. If they're putting together flight hardware right now, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Fine. We need 40 of those. So you best be tooling up. With my strategy, you best be tooling up. I hope you designed it for scale. I hope they designed it for scale, not you. You know what I mean? Because my plan calls for 40 SLSs, 4 times a year for the next 10 years. I would want 40 of these EUSs. 40 of them. Actually, probably a little bit more than that. Or 40 of them with 1 or 2 of them being used for Skylab style space stations, which could lead to Venusian transfer vehicles that are based off of the EUS with a habitation module in the volume that the Universal Stage Adapter takes up.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
EUS trans-Venusian injection. Orion undocks, turns around, redocks to it. Right? And then you have a whole transfer vehicle. Use that to prototype scientific exploration and flybys to Mars. So by the early 2030s, we have 3 launches a year going to a lunar station, 1 launch a year going to trans-Martian and trans-Venusian injections. Do flybys, use Orion with its poopy-doopy blocked heat shield, which should be able to handle the trans-Earth injections coming from Mars and from Venus. Right? Use that to have the first humans lay eyes on Mars, Venus, and the moon by the end of this decade. Could you open the heat shield up in Maya and look at the collider? Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's the collider box, guys. It is, it's a, I don't know if it's a hexagon, but anyway. Once again, I'm using the struts to draw the heat shield clatter box so I can get a better understanding and idea of where my fairing needs to place so the thing doesn't blow up when we try to detach from it. There is a mod for this called Kaleidoscope, but I'm not using it. Octagonal, it looks like, from what I can tell. You guys have any questions, just ask. I'm just trying to figure out the heat shield's clatter shape. You can do it without mods if you know what you're doing. Bet you never seen Kerbal played like this before, huh? There you go. It's an octagonal collider. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No. A decahedral? you hit snap to absolute, and then you turn snap on. You're moving in 10 centimeter increments. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's moved 1 meter, or about 3 feet 4 inches, or 3 feet. Yeah, 3 feet 4 inches is close enough. It's in metric. What do you want? Okay, cool. The data that we just gained from this jig is pretty invaluable to engineering this right the first time. Hey, I want it to rotate back up to its upright position. All right, cool. Now we can move that down there for now. Cool. These lines show us the upper limits of heat shield collider on this axis and the bottom of the heat shield collider right there. That's perfect. That's all I need. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in here. I'm going to get an aerodynamic piece because there is a shroud attachment point to the heat shield. And I know what people are saying. Just use that. We could, but it wouldn't look right. That's a half-assed solution. I don't like that. I'll do it myself. Right? I don't want the shroud on there. And the shroud attachment point, I don't want to attach something to it by accident. So I put a nose cone on it. So it basically caps that attachment point. Now, a lot of people don't know. There's another attachment point down here. The heat shield has another one behind its shroud attachment point that you can use if you don't want to use the shroud point. I have a docking port attached to that right now. Why a docking port? Reuse. Obviously. Now, what we could do, I'm thinking about capsule, the Starliner is reused, so it jettisons its heat shield, but it also jettisons the SM. Just give me a second, I'm thinking. Yeah, the docking port being right there should be fine. A stack separator could be useful, but that means I'm integrating the heat shield and the service module to the capsule at the same time, which is not true to Starliner, how Starliner's processing flow actually works. They attach the heat shield to the capsule first and then SM integration after that. So the pressure vessel is made in 2 sub-assemblies and then bolted together. Yes, bolted together. They don't weld. Starliner's pressure vessel, not a lot of people know, is that it's bolt together. Yeah, it's the first of its kind. Actually a pretty dang revolutionary idea because you don't have to waste a lot of time welding. It's easy to put together. See these things? These structural hoisting points there? Those are the clamps that hold everything together. And then see how this looks like a clamp that attaches down there? It clamps the 2 parts of the pressure vessel together. It works. It works great. Never had any problems, did you? Pretty cool, right? So once they're done with that, once they get the 2 things together, they'll start working on the heat shield here. And obviously everything else. And they get the capsule and the heat shield good to go, right? I'm trying to find a picture. And then from there, they put it on a rotational jig. There's a rotation jig that takes the capsule with the heat shield and turns it sideways for integration. That's for, I think that jig to rotate it. Yeah, there it is. There's the rotisserie jig. Right there. See that? See the thing? This thing turns the capsule on its side. I think that's for further interior checkouts. And then from there, they get rotated Starliner. They take the thing, use those same 4 hoist points that we showed that hold the pressure vessel together. Those same 4 stringers, right? They use that to integrate with the heat shield attached. There's your service umbilical behind my melon right here. So they'll drop it on there and they'll, connect up the umbilical and go. Now, once again, am I ever going to reuse this capsule? I don't know. I could. We could. Just saying. Weather Guy, 60-month resub. You got your worm logo, dude. Would you post it in Steam Workshop? Sure, if you guys want. Make a ship that looks like a frog. No, I'm making a ship that looks like a Starliner right now. I'm good, thank you. Nice, Weather Guy. Thanks for the support all these years, man. And thank you for modding. I do appreciate
Discovery,
it. Man.
go at throttle up.
Not Chab with a 43-month resub. I don't know. I'm starting to think you might be Chab. Just saying. Love this place. I don't know. The numbers on GS2 look way better than the EUS, like by a bunch. 3 times better. Am I missing something? Article 5, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the best time to choose to put New Glen's upper stage on top of SLS, the best time to do that was like 5 years ago. Hey, if the EUS is the thing, the EUS is the thing. We'll work with it. Dude, at this point, I'm all about getting NASA to do the most with the stuff that they have that's pre-existing. I.e., do not design a new launch vehicle right now. Do not design a new upper stage. Don't do that. Don't do that. We have a whole plethora of commercial options around the horn that we can use to retrofit the Artemis program to freaking get it to do something. Do something. Jesus. You've launched twice in the last 15 years. Give me a freaking break. Seriously, you want to know what NASA's last 3 launches were for a NASA in-house launch? Artemis 1, EFT-1, STS-135. Just do something, please. Please, you have all this stuff. You have all this stuff. Just do something with it, please. I'm trying to keep it on the down low. Okay, Chad. 43 months is crazy, though. Haven't been around as much, but I always love being around and being able to come by. Well, Chab, I appreciate the continued support despite you not being here. Thank you very much. Ares 1X was in 2009, guys. STS-135 was in 2011. Nice try. Just freaking do something. I don't care what you do. You want to use the EUS? Use the EUS. That's fine. You want to use SLS? That's fine. Just do something. Just launched it. Please, for the love of God. Yeah, all systems. That's right. Okay. Anyway, back to work. You know what I'm going to do, just to be absolutely sure, and to make this thing look pretty sweet? I'm going to line up the service module with that right there. Now, let me see. Let me go in here before I screw this up. 4-sided face, no ejection force. I don't want that on my pressure vessel. That's not great. We can make the service module the same length. That's not an issue. Oh, that would look so good. Huh. Kronos, UJ, I met you at Pima a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember me, but I was one of the mechanics at the F-18 restoration hangar. I was moving an ejection seat behind you. Yeah, Kronos, dude, of course I remember that, dude. Yeah. Yeah, there was an F-8, there was the F-18s there. What else was in the resto area? Yeah, of course I remember that. That's when Balls 3 was right across from the resto hangar, right? And then there were 2 UH-60s that just came in. Of course I remember this, dude. How could I forget that, dude? I got like this close to Balls 3 that day. That's a freaking sweet day, man. How's the lady? She used to visit us for the past 2 years. I don't see her much anymore. So my shop is not connected to my house. We moved and I live in a house now. But I have a barn that's behind, like kind of behind my house in the woods. So it's not connected. So Bree doesn't come up here that much. But yeah, she brought me dinner today, which was pretty cool. But yeah, she doesn't frequent the stream as much as she did when we were in the apartment, when she was like 20 feet away from me. Now she's like 300 feet away from me, you know. But anyway, it's good to see you, bro. Of course I remember that. No, not your lady. The lady that was with you in Pima. Oh! Julia. I don't know, Kronos. I have no idea, dude. I haven't talked to her in a little while. Actually, I haven't talked basically since that Pima trip, dude, to be honest. I don't know what happened with the Vectors trip that we were doing, so I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what happened there. But damn, were those VFTs fun, bro. That was a good time. I gotta go back to Pima. I love that museum, dude. It's so good. Dude, I spent so much time in that damn place the day that I was there. Like, I came back the next day, and we did a VFT. I spent probably like 10 hours walking around all the different buildings in the Pima Air and Space Museum. It was so bad because I don't live in the desert. I forgot to drink water. I had the worst heat stroke that night. It was so bad, dude. Yeah, Cuban, that's fair. She was here today, Terminator. What are you talking about, man? Kronos, I can't speak for the lady we were with, dude, but dude, I'd gladly go back to Pima if I'm welcome back. I don't know if I'm welcome back. I'd gladly do it, dude. Thanks for remembering, man. If you visit us again, you're welcome again to the restoration hangar. We have some A10s now. Nice. That's pretty sick. Dude, what Kronos? I'm just saying, bro. The planes are awesome. I love the planes, but I was very, very interested in why I found a barn full of 6BT Cummins engines sitting in the back there. What's that? What's that for? Also, A10 go burr because minigun, 30mm depleted uranium because frick you. No, I think I know the reason, guys. I won't. Why so many Cummins motors? Why'd you have a bunch of those? The reason is because the Air Force used 6BT Cummins shortened Dodge pickup trucks for airport tugs back in the day. Those also found their way to the boneyard, from what I can tell. Either that, or somebody at Pima stockpiling 6BT Cummins, and I am insanely jealous. Dude, there's just at Pima there is just barns full of airplane engines, and I'm just like, Saber had to drag me away that day, dude. He was like, "No, EJ, come on." I'm like, you know, really, Skogs? A10s are beast, man. I insulted the guy. Yes, it revs high, but I'm not going fast. Yeah, right. Right. But yeah, Kronos, Dude, I would gladly go back to Pima. I would love to go hang out with you in the resto hangar. If you need somebody to do some grunt work, dude, I'll go out there for a little while. As long as I can stream it, I'll do the grunt work. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. I can wrench. Ain't no problem, dude. Like I was telling you, dude, my shop. I wrench every day, dude. Saying. Ideally, it would be cool to drive to Pima in that thing, but this thing has got some Fred Flintstone action going on, dude. I.e., you could put your feet to the floor. It's got some Fred Flintstone action going. Couldn't find much public photos of flight hardware, but I found the latest lock structural testing article. Yeah, Novus, we've been in the dark about it, bro. That's good though. I'm glad. Good. It's good to see progress, dude. I was wondering what the frick's been going on for the past 5 years, but yeah. I think you need a new car body. It's just the floors and the trunk and the rockers and part of the rear quarters and part of the left rear frame rail and part of the rear valance. Taillight panel's still good though. Trunk is still the actual trunk itself is still good. The hood's good. The front left and right quarter panels are still pretty good. Does that help? Free air conditioner. It's speed holes. Yep. Yeah, I just need asbestos shoes. Yep. Yeah, Yuri. I don't know what you guys call it over there, but if a car has the floors rusted out, we call it, it's Fred Flintstone. You got some Fred Flintstone action. That is reassuring. I'm gonna fix it, dude. Don't worry. I'll fix it. We're gonna fix it on stream. I'd be working on it right now if we weren't working on this. All right. So something that's a little bit alarming here. It looks like I already took into account the heat shield collider shape, which means that the inside fairing collider shape is different. I didn't notice the 6BT Cummins, but we have a stockpile of Cummins CT6 CTA-3 that the USAF stores here. They're mostly removed from the M939 trucks. Also, we have a hangar full of Wildcat V8s. That's nice. I love planes, dude, but I like cars as well. And see that's what was very hard for me at Pima, because it has like all of that, and I'm like, that's awesome, Kronos. 6 CTA8 word. Yeah, the Wildcats. Start carts, bros. Start carts. That's why those are there. You should go rebuild one. Dude, John, that's fun. Dude, one time I didn't do this on stream, but I offered to rebuild the Chevy big blocks from the A12 start cart that's at the Intrepid. They didn't want to. They were like, nah. I'm like, bro, I could get those 454s running. It would be extremely loud, but I could get it running. Oh, yeah. And I think you know why they needed the Wildcats. They were needed for a certain plane. The Archangel. Freaking sick, dude. That's so cool. Yeah, Kronos, dude, I'll make my way out there one of these days. Again, I love Pima. That, dude. Place is mint. It's one of the best museums in the country by a long shot. Guys, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, this is the Pima Air and Space Museum. I'll get back to this in a second. Like, I gotta figure out what we want to do with that service module. But, dude, it's in Tucson. Take a look at this place, dude. So this is an air and space museum that is across the street from the Boneyard. Anytime the Boneyard needs, wants to get rid of inventory, they bring it over to Pima. This is Pima right here. Look at the hardware, dude. There is no other place around where you could see a B-50 next to a C-135, next to a B-47, next to a B-36, next to a B-52, next to another B-52. Canberra, B-58 Hustler. Dude, MiG-29. MiG-29. MiG-21, MiG-17, MiG-15. CH-54, Sky Crane. Mi-24, Hind D. Pavlo, AH-1 Cobra, CH-46. Dude, this place is legit. Check this out. Look. FA-18, A7, A6, A5. Those are pretty rare. You don't see those. Got F4s, they got F9s. See that right there? That's a 787. And I know what people are saying, like, what do you mean 787? What's that doing there? Serial number 1. Actually, that might be serial number 3, I forget. We have Sophia 2 now. Oh, that's where Sophia ended up? Wicked, dude. Wicked. Look, guys, they got NASA's second Super Guppy and NASA 9.4. I think it's actually 944, but Super Guppies, P3s, Connies. Look at all this, dude. Look at the hardware. This place is the freaking best. Look at C141. You ain't gonna find that. You ain't gonna see those in any museums. Where is this? This is the Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, dude. Did you see any P2Vs? Refresh my memory. What's a P2V? Oh, yeah, yes, yeah, those are there. It's over here. I know dude, every plane. They have every single one. Dude, seriously. It's around. I forget where it is. That might be one right there. I spent days on a 141 pointing backward, crossing the Pacific multiple times. Right on. Dude, Saberliner. Look, the Saberliner right there. North American made a passenger plane to try and compete with Learjet. Saberliner. It's an F-86 that can carry people. Pretty cool, huh? Actually, you know what? No, scratch that. That's not a Saberliner. You're right, Rob Kopp. I think that's a Jetstar. Look at how big JRM Mars is. I can run over a wing and get tired. Wait. JRM... Dude, the flying boat? You got one of the JRMs. Oh, now I have... Dude. Frick. MiG-31s. Yuri, let me go back over there and look real quick. Guys, that's a Lockheed Jetstar. That's not a Saberliner. That was my mistake. Sorry, I'm getting tired. So Yuri, they have a... Okay, let me take a look. MiG-29, MiG-21, MiG-17, MiG-15. And then I do believe that's a MiG-15 trainer. Oh. Sukhoi. Egyptian or Iraqi Sukhoi? The B-58. Oh, dude, a Canberra. Look at this place. This place. Dude, Pima's the best, man. There's so much good stuff in here. There's so much good stuff. Yeah, freaking JRM Mars. Unbelievable. Dude, so this plane right here, I think that's a Convair 990, I think. That could be a Coronado. I know NASA used the Coronado a lot for transonic research. Could just be a C-135. Who knows? Dude, look. Check this out. F-101, F-111, Panavia Tornado, MiG-25. I think that's a MiG-25. Could be a MiG-23. They also have the first production 777. Yeah, it's over there. Or no, it's not. Oh, dude, the propulsion test platform's there. Cool. Yeah, the Cathay Pacific one is, I believe, the first 707. Any F-105s? Yeah, of course. There's two of them. Two Thunder Chiefs next to an F-15 and an F-4. Check this out. Look, F-104, F-106, F-100 Super Sabre, F-16. I'm telling you guys, this place is the Look at all the Harriers. Look at all the different... Dude, they have every single variant of a freaking Harrier right there. We placed the JRM Mars next to a Bumblebee. Next to a Bumblebee 1. The size difference makes you laugh. That's awesome, dude. An OV-10? Yeah, right there. Hueys. There's all kinds of stuff, man. There's even a French airliner right here. We got Rutan stuff, man. I'm telling you, this place is nuts. They have the Orbis MD-11 right there. YC-15, super rare. They only made 2 or 3 of those things. That's a super rare plane. Couple C-130s. See that right there, guys? That United 727? That's like the first 727 ever designed. That's like serial number 1. Dude, tanks! You got tanks now? They didn't have tanks when I was there. Sherman, Abrams, a Duck. We do have some rocket engines in the hangar here too, but work didn't start on them yet. I saw the alleyway, Kronos. I hugged it. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that. I couldn't help myself. I love LR-87s. I saw the alleyway, dude. Dude, what is that? Is that a T-55? It's a T-55. It looks like an M60 right there. Oh, hello. Hello? Nice. I hugged it, Kronos. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. Dude, look at, they just got all this stuff just chilling back there. A couple of cam bearers right there. Another F-101, CH-46s, just 2 of them. That's a C2. Or no, an E2, excuse me. I think. Where did Balls 3 go? Dude, an RB-57. A NASA RB-57. That's pretty cool, man. Dude, it seems like you guys have upgraded your stockpile a little bit since I've been there. Is that a... Dude, it's a Sprint missile! Oh, Kronos, you're killing me. You're killing me right now. That's a Sprint missile. Damn it! Now I gotta go back. Crap! Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Oh, Balls 3 is in the hangar right there. See that? See that? See that B-52? Serial number 3. This was used by the Air Force for high altitude research. that B-52 launched Neil Armstrong's X-15. It has the carrier pedestal right there, still installed. Exactly, Admana. It's a sprint. And also, where did that come from? That wasn't there last time. Dude, I gotta go back to FEMA. We gotta go back to FEMA. This is not okay. I gotta go back to FEMA. This is ridiculous. Look at all this stuff. There's the death trap right there. Bro, this museum has gotten so much better. And you know what's even crazier? All the stuff in the hangars. All these hangars are full of planes, guys. That one has a B-17 in it. B-17G, if I'm remembering correctly. Yes, we have that, but it's in a hangar now. Ugh. Oh, we're going to have to go back. What's that 737? The one that's in China Southern. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Dan, maybe. Lots of folks think Skunkworks only uses black or gray paint, but they also have blue. Okay. Okay, I'll give that one to you. Dude, this place is heaven. I love it. By the way, they're opening a big upgrade to the Tucson Military Vehicle Museum later this month. We have a T-62, a T-72, M103, and an M1 Abrams and some APCs, howitzers, and some SAMs. Yeah. Kronos, I can see that. That looks like a BTR right there. I forget what kind though. That's a Russian APC, I think. There's an Abrams just chilling there. That looks like an M4. These are amphibious vehicles that the Marine Corps used in World War II. There's a bunch of good stuff here, dude. Looks like a BRDM? Yeah, maybe. Any B-25s on tap? Inside of the hangar? Sure, Aldezert. Yeah. Dude, there's the World War II hangars are over here. Every plane you could think of. I'm serious. FEMA has everything. Everything. And I mean everything. Dude, you can find amazing stuff in here. It's nuts. FEMA's the best. Oh yeah. 4-segment SRB. This design, that's an older version of SRBs. This design just really fell out of favor after January of 1986. No particular reason. So yeah, they have two O-ring Block 1 SRB sitting in the front yard. Because frick you. Of course they have an SRB. Why wouldn't they? I'm telling you, if you're in Arizona or near Tucson, go here. This museum is awesome. That's the space hangar in there. There's all kinds of good stuff in there, dudes. I won't say, I don't want to spoil it. There's all kinds of good stuff in there. Dude, there's planes you will never see, like you're never seeing any other plane in the world. That is one of like 2 B-58s left. The other one is in pieces near Edwards Air Force Base. That I know of off the top of my hand. Freaking B-52s. No other place you could walk right up to one of these things. T-38 right there. F-9. I'm telling you, this place is baller. I love Puma. It's heaven. Guys, I spent so much time walking around looking at planes, I forgot to drink water because I was doing what I'm doing right now, and that was the end of that. No. Wait a minute. Bro. Who knows? Of course, Garfagon. Dude, this place, the more I look, the better it gets. Are those Navajo missiles? They are. Kronos, why are you doing this to me? Why did you bring this up? Damn it. Oh, there's the howitzers. Drop tanks. See this? All plane engines. Oh god. Oh god, I can't do it. This place is too cool. Sobs, yeah, they're cool. Pain to repair though. Re-rolled off of a PCL M15 Belfagor yesterday. I don't know what that is, but that's still cool. This has been the best stream derail ever. Pretty good, right? Oh, look! A Thor missile. Yeah, frickin' Thor missile. It doesn't have the H1 attached to the back, but that's a Thor missile right there. IRBM. Early parts of the space program. The Thor program became the Delta program. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of good space stuff here. All kinds of good space flight goodies, dude. They got everything, Yuri. Search for it. A PZL M15. Dude, is that crop dusting thing? It's, yeah, this thing. The freaking jet biplane thingamajigger. You got a bell for... That looks like someone's Kerbal contraption, homie. That looks like that. It's a Soviet crop duster. In case anybody's wondering. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, I have questions. How the heck did you get one of those? Second of all, for emphasis, how the heck did you get one of those? Yeah. Crop duster. Yeah, it took me a second to remember. Let's see if we can find it. Is it here? Huh? No, that looks like an AN2. No. That's an old Cessna. Sorry, it's just the photogrammetry screwing up a little bit. I don't see it. I don't think I see it. Hey, dude. Cool. Anybody know what that is? Dude, you get huge bonus points if you know what that is. It's a piece of spaceflight GSE. I'm wondering who knows. By the way, we repaired a common HH-43 and it's flying. No way, dude. Something for the shuttle. Nope. What you're seeing right there is a Titan II hypergolic refueling trailer. The hypergolic refueling trailer would go to Titan II missile silos, and they would fill up the NTO and the MMH into the missiles. That truck looks like a kiln, or not a kiln. It looks like just a regular like tanker, right? No, that is a Titan II refueling vehicle. Here, hold on. If you go a little ways south of here to Green Valley, Arizona, there's the only remaining intact Titan II missile silo ever. The U.S. had to demolish every other one of these silos except for that one. That one was preserved as a museum. They did it to show the Soviets that they were arms limitations. It was part of the START II arms limitations treaties. This one got converted into a museum. The only operational, well, not operational, definitely not operational. In fact, they welded the blast door shut, or they welded the blast door halfway open so the Russians can still see and make sure that it's not used. But see the trucks? See, there's your fueling trucks right there. That is the only intact Titan II missile silo ever out of like 60. Yeah, so that is a piece, that truck that's there is a piece of GSE left over because So there's 3 clusters of Titan missile silos that were made during the Cold War. Some of them are outside of Tucson, some of them are outside of Arkansas, and then I forget where the third set of them are. I think they're in Oklahoma. I dropped a wrench down a missile silo. What do I do? Run. We have a parts of Marquardt RJ-43 ramjet engines going on display near the D-21. Word. Fun fact, guys, that one's intact. I'm pretty sure you can see where the other silos are. Dude, it's some real Fallout stuff. They're just out in the middle of nowhere, but you know them when you see them. Gotta look around. Yeah, there's one. That one has been converted to somebody's property, but there was a Titan missile silo basically here. It's very easy to spot. It's just a square out in the middle of nowhere with some roads that go around in circles. Like I said, they had to demolish every silo because of strategic arms limitations with the Soviet Union in the late 80s. So they retired the Titan program in the mid to late 80s. So they demolished all the damn silos. They had to blow them up, and then so what they did was they blew off the top of the silo, and then they put a concrete cap on the missile silo. And yeah, they left the concrete cap exposed so the satellites could see it, and once they verified it, they filled it in. So under the ground right there, probably about 10 feet down, is a missile silo. Yeah, you know, I know what people are gonna say. Oh, dude, we should do people buy them and use them? Yeah, but you're not removing like a 50-ton block of concrete off the top of the silo. That and the upper parts of the silo are destroyed anyway. So there's one there. There's another one around Tucson. I don't know I forget exactly where it is. I think it's up here somewhere. They spread them out. They're all over the place. Yep, there it is. See? There's another one. Under there is a Titan missile silo. It looks like somebody uncovered the blast lock right there. But see, you could still see the pad where they would refuel the Titan missiles. So that means the silo is somewhere right there. I believe we have a bunch in Cheyenne. That sounds right, Handsome Devil. People buy them, guys. Yeah, the U.S. government, after they decommissioned all the silos, they just sold off the property. They sold off the real estate. You could buy them. And there are some people that do restore them. You obviously can't restore the missile silo, but yeah. They restore what's called the bird cage. Okay. A little bit of a rabbit hole, or missile silo, whatever. So the Titan missile silo is comprised of 3. Don't ask me why I know this. It's comprised of 3 structures that are all underground. You have obviously your silo right there, where your missile is stored. And then you have a cableway. There's 2 cableways, and the cableways connect. The long cableway here connects the silo to the blast lock. And then the short cableway connects the blast lock to what's called the bird cage and the control center. This is your launch control center over here. But missileers in the Air Force would not just go down there and report to your job like a shift. Basically, what they would do with these silos is you'd live there. You'd live there for a little while. So this whole thing is a whole apartment. All right. There's diesel generators down here. There's emergency vent lines. You got water. You got diesel. The bird cage is... The reason why it's called a bird cage is because there's a metal structure inside of that concrete kind of pressure vessel, and the metal structure is hanging from the top on springs in case you get wailed on with a nuclear blast. The reality of the situation here is that if a nuke directly hit the silo, there would be no silo left, and there'd be a giant hole in the ground. So that really is one of those things that you did because it makes you feel better. On the top level, right here, there's an apartment. There's an apartment. There's a kitchen, place to sleep, living room, right? This level right here is the launch control center. That's where, you know, you turn the keys. Like, we turn the key, we send the thing, right? Bottom down here is your base, like your utilities closet. The diesel generators are down there. Power systems are down there. Everything, yeah, everything's down there. And then you have, of course, your umbilicals that go to the missile. And then in between, you have blast doors, which is why this is called the blast lock. The blast lock has 4 doors. There's one that's covering the short cableway, one that's covering the long cableway. And then there's 2 gigantic, like 50-ton blast doors right there, which is why it's called the blast lock, that protect the stair, you know, like they basically lock, like I said, they lock you in there. You live down there. You'd live down there for a little while. There's 2 gigantic armored doors that are NBC compliant, nuclear, biological, chemical, in sequence right there. It's actually, dude, they're super cool. The remaining silo has Google Street View inside. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, this Titan missile silo has a Titan missile in it. It is the training missile test article, so that's like serial number 1. That was the first Titan booster ever manufactured, by the way. I've hugged its engines. You didn't hear that, though. So, dude, the crazy thing is that this is a launch pad. There's a flame trench down here, and there's flame diverters. The flame diverters actually go from the bottom of the silo. They do a U-turn, and then they go up and out the top. You'll note that there is emergency eye wash things all over the place because you're screwing around with hypergulls here. Did they hug you back? Sure. By the way, we have 2 KFZ 251s. SDKFZ 251s. The guys managed to get the engines running again. That engine design is one of the weirdest I've seen in a long time. Germans. Am I right? I mean, the crazy thing about this is that this is a Titan missile. This is a launch pad. It's a launch pad that's underground, which is just crazy to me. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they welded the silo in place and then put glass on the side so they could peek in. There it is. Here's all your service gantries. There's this is the long cableway here. Note that everything is being suspended. All the cables and all the umbilicals that go to the rocket is all being suspended on, well, suspension. And notice that everything is painted hospital green. So before you get to the blast lock long cableway door, actually no, it's behind me. Well, it was behind me. That's all added. That wasn't supposed to. Oh no, that's original. Excuse me. So this is the look, scape suits, dudes, for working on hypergulls. They still use those to fuel up spacecraft all the time. Dragon, Starliner, they used them during the space shuttle. Those are scape suits because you don't want to breathe hypergulls. We know that, right? So there's a washroom here to decontaminate the suits if you're out doing work on the missile. There's your blast lock doors right there. There's 2 there. And I thought yeah, there's one right there. I thought it was the wall. There's one there on the long cableway, and then there's another one over here on the short cableway. Actually, that's it right there. This is Green Valley, Arizona. That's the blast lock. Those doors are, I don't even know how heavy they are. They're freaking heavy. The doors is welded, like welded castings. Yeah, it's heavy. So we're going through the short cableway here into the launch control center. There it is. 2 dudes. That's all you need. 2 guys to launch it. That's it. Can't launch it without the right codes, though. You guys want to hear something messed up? So, you know how missileers train? Every once in a while, they get a code transmitted to them. and they carry out the code. Is it the right one? Don't know. Might be the right one. Hopefully it's not. Pretty crazy, right? You need to have balls of steel to be a freaking missileer. No, yeah. Some war game stuff, dude. Yep. There's the, let's see, can we see where the keys are? Yeah, there you go. Where do you put the key in? I think one is on the wall over there. I think that's it. And then there's another one on the desk. Dude, this stuff is so cool. This is so legit. Oh, they don't have the upper levels and stuff. That's your ventilation hatch right there. Also, it doubles as an emergency egress hatch in case the blast lock gets blown away. Yeah, dude, up there, there's an apartment, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, like a full apartment. But see, it's all suspended on springs to withstand the shock from a nuclear blast going off near you. Shall we play a game? That's right, Adman. Yep. See, look, see the gantry right here? There's a little gantry because the entire launch control center is suspended on on 3 gigantic platforms that are hanging from the ceiling. And everything is on springs. The whole thing is separate from its concrete pressure vessel. Is there a crew of 4, 2 at the controls and 2 in the bunks getting sleep? Yeah, that's what they did, Charles. I think it might be 3 crews. But, I forget. G'day, what ICBM silo? This is Green Valley, Arizona, guys. It's, this is the only remaining intact Titan II missile silo. Which is pretty cool. Thanks for letting me know that this is a thing, dudes. Pretty cool. Oh, yeah. Right there. See that? Titan missiles carried the largest nuclear weapon that the U.S. ever yielded. Ever. Anyway, a little bit of a deep dive. That's the Titan II Missile Museum. The Titan II Missile Museum works with Pima. That is kind of like an extension museum of the Pima Air and Space Museum, which is just up here a little ways. But anyway, guys, if you're in Arizona, go to Pima. Pima's the best. Every plane you could think of. Seriously, it's got everything. The missile silos out of Vandenberg are sick. Yeah? Actually, Vandenberg has an intact Titan II missile silo, but it's been gutted. It hasn't been blown up, though. The test silos for the Titan missiles. Is that what I named Titan after? Dan, Titan was the name that whoever named him. But I'm not going to pass up on adopting a dog named Titan. Right? Now, Titan, my dog is from Tennessee. He's a rescue from Tennessee, so he was most likely named after the Tennessee Titans. But I'm going to go ahead and think, because he's my dog now, I'm going to go ahead and think that he was named after the Titan missile. Okie dokie? Yeah, cool, sweet. Couldn't pass up on that one. Sorry. Tennessee Titan, you mean the Houston Oilers? Yes, I do. Fix the Starliner? I do gotta mess with some stuff with the service module, but yeah, for the most part, everything is working correctly. Titan also has the same colors as the Titan IV, that's right. People live in them. Guys, you can look up on YouTube people restoring Titan missile silos. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, yeah. That's correct, Nader, yes. guys, I ran into a little bit of a weird thing with this Starliner capsule. It's pretty good, but my thing is that it looks like I made my fairings conformant to the collider box anyway, and this fairing still doesn't work. Yeah, Halengar, I got something. You just linked one. Yeah, already, yeah, there you go. Thompson Atomic Ranch. Yeah, there you go. Cool. I think I've seen this channel, but I'm not sure. Neat. Oh, one more thing, RE Titan missile silos. Is it just... Okay, weather guy, you got it? Yeah. So on our multiplayer Minecraft server, we're far enough out of the gates that I was wondering if anybody ever put 2 and 2 together. Because I kind of did it in secret, but well, I'm sure you can figure that one out. It takes 2 and 2 was in fact put together very early on. Damn it. Well, what fuels can the LR-87 use? Anything, Yuri. Seriously, anything. Hi, Lig. What's going on? Yeah, that's our multiplayer Minecraft server. We built cities. Yes. Cities. Oh yeah, and airports. Pretty cool, man. I remember saying something to the airport boys, but I didn't say anything because I was like, nah, he totally wouldn't do that. You guys want to hear something crazy? Everything here is done in survival. This is not creative. This is survival. We mined all the resources for all these damn buildings. That's why areas are completely strip mined out. Yeah. Yep, this is done in survival. Some extremely talented people did this, and I started this server during the pandemic, guys, and I just haven't. I just can't manage. I don't have the time to play it, and I don't like that, but it is what it is. It's still live. Oh no, the server's been up the entire time. I've never took it down. I never took the server down. Just for what it's worth. Never took the thing down. Yeah. Thank you, EJ, for keeping us in mind. You are always welcome to visit here in Pima whenever you'd like. We'd be delighted to have you. STEM Outreach is gaining significant momentum, and we truly appreciate the valuable work you're doing. Kudos to all your efforts. Thanks, man. Cronus, shoot me an email. EJSA154@gmail.com. Shoot me an email, dude, so we can touch base. I'm serious. Dude, I mean, we got to look at all these fine people. I just showed up Pima on Google Earth. You imagine what happens. You give me a mobile streaming setup. We could do some pretty cool stuff, I think. you know? Shoot me an email, please. Or tell me who to contact. Better yet, I'm not, I don't want to make you jump through hoops. Tell me who I need to get in touch with. And yeah, we'll go from there. I could always do more STEM outreach, man. I love it. I love it. It's my thing. Because this stuff is goddamn cool, and we need to tell people about it, dang it. Stuff is the shit. I love it. Love it. I love this stuff so much. It's so goddamn cool. Send me SERV, you wonderful nerd. Oh, okay. Guys, the capsule for the most part is working correctly. I just got to put it into a scenario. We got the separator mechanism working pretty damn well. Actually, you know what? Don't save that. Hey, Midget, 84-month resub on a 60-month stream. Damn, it's been that long. I love that place. Yeah. What's the launcher? I think I ran out of time. I got to get up in the morning. I'm sorry. I know we went on tangents, but the capsule's pretty much good to go. I made sure we dialed in all the control systems before we got any further. I tell you what, though, if I do have some free time tomorrow morning before our regular early hour segment, I'll come in here and we'll finish it. But I do have some stuff to do from basically noontime to about 4 tomorrow. So I wouldn't mind coming in early and then just putting the finishing touches on this, getting the scenario set up and whatnot, and then going from there. But yeah, for the most part, she's dialed. It's pretty good. The center of mass is good, Yuri. Yeah. Yeah, it's hold on a minute. Yeah. Oh, it's offset because of this stuff. Sorry, excuse me. Ryan, what'd you say? So yeah, if you hadn't already seen it, the Goodyear rewrapped one of its blimps to the 1920s Pilgrim paint job. Yeah, I love it, dude. Yeah, it looks awesome. That's pretty sick, man. Yeah, I actually saw that. Somebody posted about that on X, and I definitely looked at it. As always, keep up the excellent work. Okay, will do, and we're thankful. We might give access to some places. Wink, dude, I'm in. Bro, I'm friggin' in. Especially since I enjoy playing your KSP VODs in the background while I work. Are you shitting me right now, dude? Well, that makes me feel pretty good about myself, Kronos. I'm not gonna lie. That makes me feel pretty good. Keep the good work. All right, brother. We'll be in touch. Let's get her done, man. You need another wrench down there, dude. I'll come down there for a week. We'll wrench on something. Let's get it going. Let's get her done, dude. I've always loved this missile. This video. I don't know what missile this is. That is a Russian. That's a Russian missile. I think, I don't know, guys. A Sarmat, maybe? I forget. Yeet! Hey, I'm streaming right now. I don't know if you noticed that. All right, guys. I'll probably get in an early stream tomorrow just to finish this up, just to make sure we're good to go. But yeah, this was a really fun stream today. I had a lot of fun. Between the Isaacman confirmation, belting out more things with Starliner, you know, sitting through the freaking Project Kuiper scrub. It feels like old times, dude. It feels like it feels good. You know, I like doing this. This is fun. How do you feel after the hearing? Okay, Alangar. I kind of wish they went into detail about certain things a little bit more, but if this feels right, does that make sense? This feels right. Whatever we're doing here, this feels correct. Yeah, I'm going to take some time to dial this in. Just get everything else working, make sure all the control systems are working correctly, and then you guys are going to have to figure out what the failure modes are. Either that or if I stream tomorrow, we'll put 2 and 2 together. I do agree. Starliner feels right to me, too. Hawks, was it you that told me about Simon Fordman? Because I simultaneously love you and hate you, if that's the case. Just out of curiosity. That was you, right? Save this capsule for a future mission mode. I would redesign the service module. Yeah, it was me. I'm sorry, not sorry. Dude, I watched the entire freaking Hearst-equipped truck F-100 episode. For the love of Christ, it's 2 hours long. Granted, I was doing stuff in the background, but I was like... you know? A good channel, dude. When is the vote for the confirmation? Sunkor, it's probably, it could either be happening in the next couple of days or about 2 weeks from now. Congress has to take a 2-week vacation for Easter. Anyway, yeah. Guys, I don't know if I have time to dial this in for a stream tomorrow, but if I do end up getting some spare time, yeah, I will stream it. It might be in the morning. It might be if I get back early. If not, Das and I will talk about everything while I retool this thing and get her going. So, yeah. Topol M. There you go. That's the name of it. Does it work in space? Yeah, Yuri, it flies really well in space, actually. It's very, very maneuverable. Just like Barry said, the thruster configuration on this thing is actually quite good. I will say it's quite good. It's just very complicated. This thing has more thruster blocks on it than any capsule ever. I think it has as many thrusters as the damn space shuttle does. Which is bananas to me. Right? Anyway. All right, guys. Yeah. Yeah. We got most of it done. I'd say what we have for Starliner is not bad for 2 days. Very much not bad. Hang on. I accidentally deleted a part. I'm going to reload the craft file and save it just to be absolutely sure. Okay, cool. Save. All right. So that's going to do it for me, guys. When is the flame trench? So tomorrow, you should get 2 flame trenches over the next 2 days. So tomorrow, I'm not streaming early hours. I have some real life stuff that I have to do. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is unavoidable. I have to. I should be back around 4, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. And if I'm back a little bit early, we'll tool this up and we'll get the Starliner scenario ready to go. Yeah. If I do have time, I will stream. I'll try to pop in tomorrow morning early just to finish this up. But I think we got most of it done. I'm pretty good. Like I want it to really work right, but we can't get the separation mechanism done right. We can't get it done right. The capsule flies correctly. It flies how it should. So that's what matters for this thing. Now Long March 5. But yeah, This was a fun stream, man. Feels right. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Once again, a little bit of a wonky schedule tomorrow, but yeah. We'll have Flame Trench around 5 o'clock, the follow-up Flame Trench to last week's, and then on Friday you get the regular Flame Trench, so it should be good. I don't know what we're going to play on Friday morning. Maybe we'll wrench on the cornet on Friday before Flame Trench. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, and have a very, very, very good rest of your night. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5. At the latest. Thanks for watching. I'll see you.